Hey. Hey. What's up? Yeah. What do you know? Hello. Wednesday, I think is the day today. That's what we call it. I've been working. We got a schematic here. We got a diagram. So the SMG harness arrived today, or the 6-speed manual harness arrived today for the transmission. So this is where it connects to the car. Then we have 3 connectors on the transmission. We have an oil temp sensor. We have the neutral switch, and we have the reverse switch. So I need the other end of this connector that would plug into here and run to the DME, and that's part of the factory wiring loom on a E60 M5 that came with a manual transmission. This one did not, so it doesn't have the other end of this connector. You can't buy it because it's part of the whole vehicle wiring harness, which I'm not changing. So I need something that plugs into here and runs to the DME box. Thankfully, the old SMG harness miraculously makes use of the same connector at the transmission side and has pins 1 through 6, 7, 8, and 9 populated. This, the SMG side, is represented here. Populated pins represented by a circle. The transmission side of the new transmission harness, which is an X60681, that part number is this that I just showed you, and it had pins 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, we don't have a 10 here, so I moved 10 over to 4. So now we have a line of communication, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9 on both sides. That's what we'll use to connect the manual transmission up through the firewall into the DME box. Now we only need to retain 7 of these pins. Only 7 of these wires are going to stay. The rest of this can just be taken out with the trash. Thrown out with a bathwater. You pick the term you like. I went through and labeled what they're for, what they do, how I moved pin 10 to pin 4, and then colored them. Then I traced them using a continuity tester from this connector, the opposite side of what's going to be X60681, and found them over here, and they all run to the SMG ECU block. And there's 2 blocks inside this one, a gray one and a black one. And that's represented here. So pin 1 on the trans harness, as in this, pin 1 on that goes to 34, 2 to 4, 3 to 4. How can that be? How can 2 pins here go, 2 unique pins here go to the same pin? Well, they're grounds, and they're spliced together in a junction like this. There's a total of 4 or 5 wires in there. Same thing over here. I imagine these are just voltage lines and these are just ground lines. So there's 3 in pin 4 that I'll need to take, and 2 in 34 that we'll need to separate and probably put different connectors on, because these don't have pins on the end. They have like a crimp, and they're just all crimped together under that insulator. So these numbers and everything I found out here with the continuity tester are then in these boxes here. So this is difficult to read, I know, but I put it together for myself, and I can read it. So pin 1 on the trans harness goes to pin 34 on the SMG DME harness. So that's how we're going to track the neutral sensor voltage line to the DME box, and then we've got to figure out, there's going to be arrows next, and that tells me where I need to put it on the DME or one of the other connectors in the DME box, which I think I showed you guys. Sorry for talking so much. This is just, it kind of helps me to talk through it. Honestly, it helps me a lot to talk through it. But this is the DME box, and the engine DME uses all of these wires and all of these wires. So we'll need to figure out, well, I know how to take the DME out. We'll probably just take it out of the box, disconnect the 2 or 3 connectors that are plugged into it, and then figure out what else needs to be pinned in there from the trans harness, which is going to be in that cutout right there. So this has been really productive today. I'm happy to announce. We kind of figured out exactly what needs to happen with this. I guess when I'm ballsy enough, the next steps will be to just simply cut off all of this. It's no longer needed. I don't need fuses and relays for a manual transmission. So this stuff can all go. All we want are to move the signal wires, which are all in here, and these 2 things. The rest of it's going to go. We'll probably leave the wires in the tube because the tube would collapse without them. I'll probably just cut this off here and let them rot in there. I don't know. I'll talk to some other guys that have done this and see what they recommend. But that's been today so far. I also picked up the replacement rear main seal since we botched the first one. So we got another rear main seal in there. And then I picked up these Sirius adapters. I don't think I showed you guys, but the weird ass 2-pin antenna. Well, it turns out BMW released a PDF and told us which one is the satellite antenna. And then they sell this little kit for $5, which is that. So if you want to retrofit the single pole antenna to a car that has the 2-pin antenna, well, you just take the connector apart, take out the Sirius antenna and plug it in one of these, whichever one you need, and then shove it in the Sirius module. So hell yeah, this was only $5, so I figured why not have it. The original rear main seal is this, which wasn't leaking too badly at all. Too badly anyways, but I figured it was a good time to do it. And then the one we botched is this one, which has a kink in it right there. So that's no good. Otherwise, today I downloaded a bunch of nerd software for the ThinkPad. The cables coming from Bulgaria are several days away, several weeks away, probably still at this point. So I downloaded all the software online, and then I was going to install it, but it's already 6 o'clock. I did put a sticker on there, which looks nice, I think. Maybe if I get bored tonight, I will install it. Otherwise, that's a project for tomorrow or a rainy day. Just to go through and install the drivers and move the files around and command prompt and regedit and all the shit I haven't done in years. But talk about busy. A lot's going on. It feels good. I love making stuff like this because I know how to read this and reference it, and this is going to save me a lot of work later.